These are the jack springs that lift the jack back up. And this one sits right behind the tire here, and so it's scraped. I got some replacement springs, and I've got them hooked into the bottom of the jack. And then I've got it lifted up. They've got to go on. There's a little cup right here, a little C bracket there, and that spring hooks on the bottom of the jack, and then it's got to come up around that, and then when the jack extends, it wraps down that spring or down that C and touches the ground. So the problem is if I've got to stretch that spring about 2 inches, and then there's a bar right here that goes right up in here, and then that spring has to hook on both of those sides of that bar. So what I'm going to do is I've got a tag along, or it's like a little wench thing, and so I can tighten that up and pull both those springs, and I'm hoping I can get it close enough so that I can get that little guy right up into there, and then when I let this go, it'll grab onto this, and then I can pull out my little tag along.
Was this what I was seeing drag on the road while we were driving?
Yes, there's actually another one of these, but it's back underneath there that holds the jack up. That's what we've had to do for the last 3 months. And so yeah, one time we had it dragging down the road just flapping, which is a little scary because that just catches, and you know, you don't want anything dragging down the road. So lovely fun today, and it's greasy. So I went and bought this thing. It was about $40 for the new springs. I figured, you know, hey, in my head I figured out this is going to be easy. So I got these things clamped on there. And then she pointed out I'm wearing my really nice work shirt and my really nice pants. I was just going to nail in the dirt and just stick the thing on, and no, I'm going to be working on this for a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, clean up, change my clothes, and give it another shot. That little ground cloth there I can climb under. So there's the beat up old spring. There's the nice new spring. And I had it halfway clamped on, and I realized this wasn't going to work, so I had to take it back off. There's the jack. I can focus. Here's the jack right here. You can see I got one spring still on. I have a little strap that ties it up to the tag axle there. So what I got to do is I got to get that spring stretched up. It's got to come up around that big sort of a C frame there. And there's a little pin that connects to the other side. So it looks just like that on the other side of that guy. Okay, here's a little trick I just learned. There's paint on these things. When they paint these, they paint them so they don't rust. So when I first tried to put this in, I didn't break it. So you got to break it first. Meaning, you got to break all these little things. So what I did was I can't do it and show you, but I bent it like this, and it popped the springs open, and then I grabbed this side and this side, and I twisted it a little bit, and I got all this paint, all these paint flakes coming off. There on my, I got a little bit on my hands, yeah, like that guy right there. That makes it a lot easier to work with. Okay, so here's what I ended up doing. I got this guy hooked on the other side of that, and then it's running down through the hook on this other side, back up through this hook, coming back up here. My goal is to be able to wench this, and that's going to suck these two together. It's just going to give me enough room to get this thing in there and hopefully hook that on. Got to get it stretched about that far, so about an inch, maybe. An inch on both sides. Okay, so my little cheapo winch from Harbor Freight didn't handle the pressure of torque. I tried to winch the two together, and I just popped it. On top of that, I'm bending all the little leads, so this thing's pretty much just junk. So I ended up getting my screwdrivers, and I'm trying to wedge those open. I got a bigger rope, so now I can sort of help suck it down a little bit. My idea is to get those so I can tie it close enough together that I can get that little pin in there, and then let the rope go and hope the pin holds it.
And he's got a little helper.
And then I got a little helper here as we're working on it.
Hi, Philip.
Hi, Bud. Okay, so here's where we are. A couple hours later. I've got that little nut guy hooked on the other spring, and I'm that close. And all I've got to do is get this rope tightened. So it's going up to that, and then I've got it going around, hooked onto the frame way back over there so I can winch it tight and keep it tight. so I can work on that rope. Okay, so that was just a teeny bit of a tug, and I got that on. Just pulled here on this rope and was able to get that in. So we got that guy on. I'm sure someone who had the right kind of equipment would have done this all in one go, and they would have had a better winch. They could have clamped that together. I think I'm pretty much done. I'm gonna just try loosening up my rope here and see if I can just get that little grommet to stay on. I got it on. I used a combination of some nice big screwdriver crowbar dealios, the small enough I could you know, get up in here like this and kind of hook onto that stuff and get in there, wedge it around. We got that guy sort of centered in place. I think I'm good. And here we go. Let's see. Yep, so we're hooked on there. We go down there. There's the foot of the jack. And then there's my rope that I used to tie that up. So now I can take that thing off. And I think we're good. Okay, and then here's the back side of it. You can see it's got a secondary little jack right there. That little one right there pushes up against the little bearing, and that's what brings the jack down. And then that jack is what lifts the RV up and down. So it needs those two springs to push it up and down.